In 2006, Debbie was diagnosed with cervical cancer, and in February 2010, after 4 years battling the disease with extraordinary grace and courage, she died. Unfortunately, Debbie's illness is not uncommon. Cervical cancer is the second most common cause of cancer deaths amongst women around the world. With 500,000 new cases each year, approximately 275,000 of those women will die. And amazingly, what Mark and Debbie found was that there was no drug development research specifically targeted towards cervical cancer anywhere in the world. So obviously they wanted to change that, so that other women would have a better chance of survival than Debbie had. And so, when Debbie died, Mark created the Debbie Fund to raise funds to establish a research group at UCL Cancer Institute specifically dedicated to the development of new drugs for the treatment of this cancer. Over the last 18 months, almost £600,000 has been raised with your help. Intrepid adventurers have scaled Ben Nevis, Scafell Pike and Snowdon. Runners have slogged through marathons in London, Boston and Rome, and most famously, Debbie's younger daughter, Sarah, recorded the song she sang into her mobile on the night Debbie died and became a YouTube sensation and went to the top 10 in the iTunes charts.
I look at you and I see me making noise so restlessly, but now it's quiet. I can hear you say, my little fish don't cry, my little fish don't cry.
Work is now well underway at UCL, where a team is developing new treatments using engineered antibodies that seek and bind to cancer cells and mark those cells out for execution by the patient's own natural immune system. Antibody treatments have already been successfully used against bowel cancer, breast cancer, blood cancer. But our team is working on developing new antibodies specifically designed to target markers on the surface of cervical cancer.
In the UK, about 3,000 women a year suffer from or are diagnosed with cervical cancer. And although the primary treatment is fairly effective in terms of giving chemotherapy and radiotherapy, about a third of women progress despite the treatment and ultimately die of their disease within 5 years. Now, most cancers affect people in the later years of their life, but unusually cervical cancer affects women at the peak age between 30 and 39, so these are young women with families and young children. So it often has a devastating impact on the family as well as the woman involved. When women relapse despite primary treatment, we don't have any current treatment which can actually eradicate or cure the disease, and therefore there's an urgent need to develop new treatments, and that's really the purpose of what we're trying to do in raising money, and the work that we're doing in the lab is really to improve the outcomes for women who progress despite initial treatment.
We're developing antibodies to target the radioactivity specifically to cancers. Most antibodies for this purpose only target to one particular cell surface marker on the cancer, but the antibodies that we're making for the Debbie Fund project actually target 2 separate molecules on cervical cancer. So they're very exciting. Using these antibodies, we'll be able to reach all of the cancer instead of just part of it. As scientists and doctors, we're really excited about this project because, first of all, it's completely new. Nobody's used this particular therapy, radioimmunotherapy, for cervical cancer. We know that cervical cancer can respond to radiotherapy by reaching all the tumour with our antibodies that go to 2 targets. We're really increasing the possibility of helping patients that have this disease when it's spread throughout the body. The money has been put to, in my opinion, fantastic use because we can take products start to finish from design right through to the clinic at UCL, And these sort of clinical trials can cost millions and millions, billions of pounds. But because at UCL we have a whole infrastructure of doctors and nurses and scientists who are all working on the projects, it means that there's that added value of the whole environment to make things happen.
So you can see what a good start has been made with the money raised so far with your help. And tonight, the money we raise will continue this vital work. So please dig deep when it comes to both the live and the silent auctions. And for the raffle, £100 ticket for the Mini is a good deal. And know that all the profits from this evening will go to further this fantastic work to help prevent other women, wives, mothers and daughters, like Debbie, and their families from suffering.
What I want is for one day a woman to come up to me and tell me that she had cervical cancer, but because of the research that came out of our fundraising, she survived.
With your help tonight, we hope to make that wish come true.